Her story, our story, 1 hour of power. It's an online free private group for women. There's a huge disconnect between what we go after and what we really want. Let's move forward. Join her story, our story, 1 hour of power. Do you sometimes feel unfulfilled and confused about your purpose? You don't have to go it alone. Come on over to the No Judgment Zone where you're going to connect with other like minded women from all over the world and receive support from others who have been through similar situations. Everyone has a story. What's your story? Seeking guest speakers. Do you have a story, talent, or ability that you would love to share? We invite you to be our guest. Hello and welcome to Her Story, Our Story. My name is Stephanie Wall. They call me Speaker Stephanie. I am the CEO and founder of Speaker Stephanie LLC and the founder of Her Story, Our Story, 1 hour of power, and the founder of 1 Million Lives Transformed, where we transform lives, relationships, and finances. The goal is for every woman, every person to transform their lives. I particularly super serve those women who've experienced trauma in their lives. Welcome to Her Story, Our Story. Remember, you belong here. You belong there. You belong everywhere. Be sure to shine your light. My name is Stephanie Wall, and I'm certainly getting it all. Come on in.
Hello everyone, and welcome to Her Story, Our Story. My name is Hope Jackson, founder of Always Hope, and my purpose and goal is to help women to unlock what is hidden inside them. I know from experience that sometimes in life when you're going through dark times, you don't realize the purpose that you have inside of you. So my goal is to help you to find it, and just to remind you that no matter what you go through in life, there is always hope.
Every time, me and this Mike, what's up with me and them? Michael, you know what? I'm about to kick this all the way over to my co-host, Hope. What's up with me, Hope? What's up with me every time? I don't know what it is with me and this Mike.
I have no idea.
Well, you know what? This is hilarious. Well, Hope, you know what? We have to open it up with decency and order. So you go ahead and kick us off with our prayer before we introduce our fabulous guests.
All right, good evening, everyone, and let us all just go to the throne of God. Heavenly Father, we thank you for allowing us to come together tonight. Lord Father God, we ask that you bless those that will be joining us tonight, Lord Father God. Fill this room with the Holy Spirit, Lord Father God, and fill each and every person's home with the Holy Spirit. Allow them to hear something, see something, say something that will shift and transform their lives. We know that you are the mighty God and that you can do all things. So we just ask you to take control over tonight's session and just do what you want to do. And all these things we ask in your mighty and precious name. Amen.
You know, I was reaching for that button before I said a word. So everybody, listen, I see my folks. Listen, we got comments coming in already. Look, that's what's up. Pam, hey Pam, hey somebody, hey Facebook user. All right, so this is where we get to introduce you to our awesome guests. Let me get up my little words here so I can make sure I got it right before I bring this awesome diva to the stage. Y'all, I know y'all could not wait to get in here. So I'm gonna bring. Let me see. All right, let me bring Vanessa on the screen so y'all can see her. Hello there, Queen. Hello there.
Hello. Excited to be here.
Girl, this is gonna be. I can't wait. All right, so let me give y'all the intro. Y'all need. I know y'all been reading about it. I know we've been talking about it, but let me read it again because this is what I did. All right, so Vanessa Zamy, is it Zamy or Zamy? Am I saying it correctly?
Zamy
is a business expert, keynote speaker, and a best-selling author of Finish, the Solopreneur's Guide to Getting Stuff Done. You know I'm loving that. Vanessa is dedicated to helping full-time employees transition to entrepreneurship, time freedom, and financial freedom by growing their business while employed. I know y'all are right there. Y'all like hashtag right there. All right. So since starting her business while employed in 2019, Vanessa was able to peacefully and calmly leave her six-figure day job in early 2021 and never look back. Amen. Through her consulting company, Your Vision's Catalyst, Vanessa Zamy works with high achieving, ambitious CEOs to increase their efficiency, productivity, and profitability so they can reduce overwhelm. Reduce overwhelm. That's right. While growing their profits, producing purpose-driven businesses. Her motto: keep it simple, then keep it moving. You know, I'm loving that right there. Vanessa has been featured in Fast Company NPR Marketplace and on the 2021 Women to Watch list by the Women in Business Club. Her background includes a management science and engineering degree from Stanford University and strategic leadership roles at Fortune 500 companies. Y'all, you see her link there. You gotta check her out to get all that business, all that scoop. You got to go to her website. So Vanessa, welcome.
Hello. Excited to be here. Thanks for the introduction. Yes.
Thank you for your yes. Thank you for your yes. We'll get deeper into how we met and all that good stuff. But this is where you and I have a little chat, and then we'll come back and you'll be getting some more chitty chat with my co-host. Okay. So we're going to kick you onto the back and we're going to have a little chat. Hold on. All right. So now, one of the things that we asked for was you to bring a little object. What object do you have, and what is it, and why does it mean a lot to you?
I brought this red lipstick here from Whirl Beauty, Whirl pronounced WYRL. I am wearing it right now. Yes. And this object came into my life a couple months ago. It was while I was at a conference in Orlando called Funnel Hacking Live. And I met this lovely other Black woman founder as well at the conference. It was on the last day. And we met up and she told me about Whirl Beauty. She was in the beginning stages of essentially like fully launching her business and she needed people to try out the product. And I was like, sure, what is it about? And so I helped her out with some ads and all that jazz. But it means a lot to me because essentially it's not just any old red lipstick, right? Essentially, it's a clean and curated vegan red lipstick, right? And so wearing the red, but like also being conscious at the same time. So it means a lot to me, but also I was able to support another Black woman founder because essentially what she does is she partners with an organization. I forget the name of it, but it's an organization, a World Health Organization that helps girls' education worldwide. And so every time you buy a lipstick, it goes towards girls' education worldwide. So that's also pretty great too. So it's just like awesome and amazing. I love it. So I like a red lipstick to feel great about.
Yeah. Girl, first of all, I like the backstory. I'm loving that. And as you can see, I love red, number one. But I'm gonna tell you, it's something about a red lipstick. And I'm telling you right now, I got two different kinds here. Of course, it's a MAC, but one looks like kind of like an orangey red, and one's a red, just fire red, right? But it's something about putting on some red lipstick that sets it off. You know what I'm saying? But you know what I mean? You put a little red lipstick on, and I'm telling you, right, how do you not feel fabulous? Oh my God! So this now, I know. Let me call my co-host back up because she's gonna be like, "No, don't even try," because I see y'all getting all comfortable. You got your red lipstick out. All right, I'm coming back. Hope, come on back. Hope, I know you sitting there like, let me go get some lipstick right now. They're not smacking their lips like this all carrying on. So Hope, I'm gonna leave for a little bit for you all, and you can get this. I want to know the 6-word story. I'm dying to know. I'll be back.
Well, welcome again to Her Story, Our Story. Super glad to have you on. I do not wear red lipstick. I barely wear lipstick at all. But y'all are killing it with that red lipstick, though.
I used to not wear makeup at all whatsoever, and then I was like, let me get some red on there. Get a little pop.
I may have to try that just so it stands out a little bit more, but I don't know if it's gonna be red though. So as we get into tonight, the first thing we want to know is your 6-word story and what does that mean to you?
My 6-word story and what it means to me is essentially evolving resourcefully and efficiently for purpose. for change, not for change. Yeah. Okay. Yes. And what essentially means to me is it's a sort of summary of my life. And so I'll keep it quick. I know we got a long show, so I'll try to keep it quick, but essentially I would say that, yeah. So when I was 8 years old, I had a moment in my life where I was in Brooklyn, New York at the time. And so I was raised in Brooklyn, New York, then moved to Boston, California, Massachusetts. Point being, when I was 8 years old, I was in Brooklyn, New York at the time. And essentially what had happened was that there was a week where, the news always repeats stories, but like they find like patterns. So there was a week where there was a whole bunch of like young kids essentially either going missing, getting shot in the playgrounds, whatever it was on the news. And I remember watching that and I was saying, oh my goodness, like this could be me. And then I started thinking about, ooh, what would my funeral look like if I just like went missing or died tomorrow? Right. And I remember saying to myself, my mother would come to that funeral because, she's my mother. She has to be obligated to come. Right. And but then I started thinking about, okay, what would I want my funeral to look like? And so from there, I remember thinking this moment, I'll never forget the moment I thought about, but essentially 8 years old, I said, what would I want my funeral to look like? And I remember just envisioning, sort of that, post-funeral like reception service, so to speak, and there'll be people like standing around from my childhood or whatever it would be, like if I made it to adulthood and I die, what my funeral like look like. And essentially it was like people from all different walks who like knew me from different chapters of life. They would come together in a room, and one person would, from childhood who knew me, and my best friend who I still connect with, right? She would come into the room and she would like see someone who she hadn't seen at any, functions or other gatherings. She would walk up to that person. She would say, how do you know Vanessa? And then that person would say, I didn't know her personally, but, and then it like kind of just like goes into silence. It goes like, nah. But they say something about how I impact and change their lives. And then my friend would like essentially stand there and just be like thrown by it. And so for me, when I think about the my 6-word story, which is evolving resourcefully and efficiently for change, it really just goes into like, I've always been sort of purpose driven and wanted to be a change maker. I didn't know how that would be. I didn't know what the specifics, but in always being that person wanting to make a difference in some people's lives, whether or not they knew me individually or personally, but always having that within me, even if I didn't have the specifics.
Wow, that's amazing. That almost reminds me, I think it's a poem where it talks about, it's called The Dash. And it says where there's 2 important days. It's the date that you're born and the date you discover your purpose. And then they talk about everything that you do in between. So the dash is everything that you do in between. So basically for you, you're writing, you're working in your purpose and then you're writing your eulogy. So
I like that.
Wow, that's amazing though. But it's kind of weird that the way you came about it though, the fact that you see the kids missing, so you wanted to make sure that you were, going to leave an impact on the world, or you were cautious about what would the impact that you would leave on the world. So
Yeah.
I don't think people think about things like that. So the fact that, you thought of something like that, that's amazing. And now that you're working, walking in it and doing it and making changes around the world, that's amazing. So I don't know about anybody else, but we are ready to get into more of your story and get more of this information. So, our host, Ms. Stephanie Wall, is back on the screen. So let's get into these meat and potatoes.
This is hope. That story was so good. I was sitting over there like, what? I was at look, and I know everybody else was right there with us. So we gonna get back into it. All right. So before we do, we always gotta do a little commercial break. So everybody stand by for the commercial. Y'all know, I want y'all to know I got that great idea. That great idea for the commercial. I got that from this very woman right here. So thank you, Vanessa. Stand by, everybody.
Hi, I'm Sharon Allen, and since I began my journey with Speaker Stephanie, the transformation architect and also known as the Tower of Power, I've gained so much more confidence. I've also been able to help other women with their life challenges, such as feeling stuck, divorce, and even loss. So if you want to increase your visibility or grow your business or even your confidence using your voice, I highly recommend that you use and work with Stephanie because she is awesome and she is the best of the best. I mean, great beyond words.
Who is speaker Stephanie Wall? The TOP, the Tower of Power. Yeah, baby. They said, look, they said that's receipts, Vanessa. They said that's receipts. What you think? Look. So listen, this is the meat and potatoes. So hope look, you see, I got my stuff, my paddles ready because I can't wait. Let me just tell you, I got questions, Vanessa, and you got answers. So this is what I need to know is I need to know, what is it? Tell me, when you say purpose-driven business, what do you mean? What do you mean by that?
Great question. Essentially, what I mean by that is, someone a purpose-driven business is a business that actually has a mission behind it. And I do not necessarily mean someone with a nonprofit business, right? This is essentially could also be a for-profit business. Nor do I mean that this is someone who is, trying to end world hunger or, make the world like renewable energy, all that jazz. Essentially, it's someone who's working on a business that ties to their mission or their purpose in life, whatever that mission could be. And so, for example, some of my clients are working on, one of my clients is a home decor business who helps people find, authentic versions of decorations that's also affordable for them, right? Another one of my clients is working on revamping literacy and education in America and how it's taught in the education school system. Another one of my clients is working on, her mission is using her skill and power of graphic design and marketing in order to help businesses really truly get time back in their life by being their marketing person, right? So it looks like different things for different people, but essentially someone who is working on a main purpose for themselves. And I call those people who are my clients like change makers as well. So people who are change makers are people who are essentially, it's like, in summary, it's someone who's making an income, but also making an impact, positive impact, but income, but also making an impact. Yeah.
So where are you? Tell the people where you are in the world.
Oh, I'm in Massachusetts.
See, y'all know now. Oh my God. All right. So they're gonna be like, how are you meeting the people all over? See, this is the thing. This is what I want to impart, is that the world is so much bigger than where we are in our little spaces. And not I hate to say it, but that, the one thing about the pandemic is that for a lot of people, it opened the door, not just a little crack, but it opened that thing wide open. And we just all of a sudden jumped on it. We were like, wow, the world really is our oyster. So can you tell them a little bit about how we came to know one another?
That is so true. We met through each other through an event, a virtual event. We met through a virtual event that was hosted by another woman as well, another business owner, but she hosted like several events with different speakers. And Stephanie, she was speaking at the event, or she was either attending the event, something like that. But yeah, she was speaking at the event, and I started speaking at the event, and I was like, oh, you know what? Let me connect with homegirl here. And then so then I went on LinkedIn, and then I reached out to Stephanie, and then we got to chatting one-on-one. And then there was just so much synergy, the vibes connected, and here we are.
And then I was on Vanessa's show. You all listen. If you're a speaker, you're a coach, you're a woman in business, you're a man in business, you're a human in business, and you want to know, you are like serious about growing, you got to know and connect with Vanessa. Period. In the story. Exclamation point. Right? It is just, I was amazed. I was sitting there like, I know I'm being interviewed, but I was getting ready to be asking her about 500 million questions. It was going to be like, I'm interviewing her, but we were just vibing. I said, I even joked that anyone watching probably was like, okay, if they were not high energy and they weren't accustomed to, they got like a double dose. It was like a twofer.
It was.
Can you imagine? Hope, are you getting the vibe right now? Hope that it was probably like on 10 the whole time.
Hope bounces us out. We appreciate you, Hope.
Yeah, Hope's like, I'm just gonna pray for y'all. I'm just gonna sit here and give this word of prayer because this, God bless them, they are over the top. So tell everyone. So even though you gave them a little bit, because we have, for the folks that are coming in right now, this is Vanessa Zamy. Vanessa, tell them who you know as in your best Clubhouse version, who you are. Look, who you are, what you do, who do you serve.
Hello, everyone. I'll give you I'll go to the show here. So, hi, everyone. My name is Vanessa Zamy, and I am the business defibrillator. I help my clients bring life back to them and their business. Essentially, in summary, I consult business owners on how to revive, grow, and scale their business without burnout, without sleep deprivation, and without meditation. And so if you're looking to learn more, feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn or Facebook.
Awesome. She's like, okay, what am I also looking? So I want you to tell the folks. I want to know, even though I have additional questions I have for you, but I want to know, how did you come to be doing this work?
Great question. How did I come to this work? So essentially, I started my business while doing my day job, and so fast forward from 8 years old, many decades later. But essentially, I was in corporate America, and so at some point, I decided to be a doctor. Then I decided to go into business. Then I was in corporate America, and I got, what I thought was my sort of dream career. I was like, yes, I'm in consulting for a top company, and like I get to, work with all these different industries, helping them to grow their business, these Fortune 500 companies, make more millions and billions, and like use my problem solving skills. Great, woohoo! I'm also making 2.5 times more than my mother will ever make in her life. Yay me! That was when I was a 5-figure at the time, right, in my salary. And then essentially 3 months into that job, 3 months into corporate America. And I had been working since I was 13 years old, but not in corporate spaces. And so this was sort of my first corporate, like real corporate sort of a job and experience. And 3 months in, I had a panic attack. And so I was laying in bed. I was in California at the time. So I lived in San Francisco, California at that time. And I woke up in the middle of the night, and I remember like not wanting to wake up, like wanting to essentially stay in the dream that I was in. I don't remember what the dream even was. I think I was like in the dream, I was in the middle of a desert, like at some market, like Aladdin or something like that. But essentially I was like, keep me in that dream. I don't want to live whatever it is this life is that I'm living right now. And at that moment though, I still stayed in corporate America, because at the time, that's really all I knew. I knew nonprofit space, I knew like medical, and then I knew like corporate America. And for me, I couldn't fathom like how this dream of mine just couldn't be possible. Like it doesn't make sense. And so I stayed in corporate. And I continued, having good bosses, bad bosses. I continued essentially what I call fighting the war of making up the ladder, but also playing the chess game. I love playing chess. So I was like, okay, I love playing chess. And then at some point I read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and I got my, actually no, so I switched companies, worked for a different company that had a wonderful culture, but then I had a terrible boss who just wasn't meant to be a leader at all, of anyone at all. And I had I'd say it was the misfortune of being one of his, people on his team. Me and my other teammates, we had the misfortune of being one of the people on his team, but it was fortunate in that it did force me to look beyond. And at that moment, I read the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. Not sure if anyone's read that book, but if you have, hey. But I read the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. And it was from that book that really opened my eyes to entrepreneurship. And so I didn't have, business owner family members that I knew of. Like my mother and aunts were, nurses' aides, like in nursing homes. And so for me, when I read that book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, that is what made entrepreneurship accessible to me. That's when I learned, I was like, oh my goodness, America runs on small business, not on Dunkin' Donuts, for those who are on the East Coast. And I also, for me, it was a big aha moment, like that, real people own laundromats, real people own laundromats. That was my big aha moment when, when I read that book and just looking at the world beyond me. But really, in summary, that book really made entrepreneurship accessible to me. And so from there, I was still in my day job at the time, but it was then that I realized, this is going to be the route for me. And then a couple months later, I had my aha moment for my consulting company, Your Vision's Catalyst. It was I woke up in a trance, essentially. And when I woke up in that trance, I was typing away in the laptop. And then I remember 3 hours later, I look up from the laptop. I'm looking at my room, what's at the what? And then I was like, what just happened? And then I looked back at the laptop and I was like, oh, I just created a business. Okay. And so that is pretty much what happened there. And yeah, and here we are. And then less than a month later, business was registered, got the website, got the logo, got all that thing done. And then it was off to getting clients. And I remember I went to Essence Fest for that. It was just like, I'm making that business right off. But essentially that's what I did. And that was my day job at the same time.
Yeah. Wait a minute, back it up. Because somebody right now said, wait a minute, what'd she say now? Let's talk about that now. That made me hopeful because I know Hope is like, wait a minute, I heard that too. So now let's talk about this thing, because I got some more questions, but just a couple things you said that just one. Thank you for your transparency, because there's somebody and I know somebody listening. So that's right now. So you just might as well go into the question or make the comment or go ahead and give Vanessa her roses while she's here to smell them or read them, right? But there are so many people that are on a job that they hate, and you probably described their boss. You probably describe that person. They probably say, wait a minute, did she work at my job? Right? Was she sitting beside me in the cubicle? Or whatever in the office? But there is and we've heard many people say that most of us are kind of working, but many of folks are working jobs that they hate. They get up every day, they go to the job, and they are prepared to give all of their energy and time to this job or this group, but they are afraid. They have a skill, talent, or ability, but they are afraid to work for themselves. What was the founder? You said, you know what? Tomorrow, I'm putting this paper in. What was that thing? What was that thing that said, I'm gone. Tomorrow, this is it.
That's a great question. So what I will preface by saying, so I started my business, but I still kept my day job for about another year or two. And then I put in my notice. So, and it was a transition. It's like a mental transition that happens. Where it's like, okay, you have the business and you see it as a possibility of something else. So in the first couple of months of my business, it was a way to say, okay, I have this job and I hate it. Or I hate my boss. I love the job, I love the company, but I hate my boss. And so overall, it just made the experience bad. But I have this company, I'm now living in my mission and purpose fully, right? So I think I am, and this is essentially in those homicidal moments of wanting to come into the office and kill someone. I was deep.
We're glad you didn't do that. We're glad you didn't do that.
It was that the fact Your Vision's Catalyst, my company, is what kept me going. The fact that I was living out this mission and purpose, that there were people whose visions that I wanted to help. There are people who, had businesses and ideas that I wanted to help them, find a way to make it happen so that they could also feel the same joy that I was feeling, outside of the office. And then at some point I then because I still wanted to, be a CEO of a Fortune 500 company. And so I was going to move up the ladder to CEO or whatever. But then at some point I let go of that because then I started to accept that the freedom that I wanted was actually in my own company and business. So then I accepted that. Then once I accepted that, then I had to make a plan to actually fully transition. And so the moment when I actually, decided to put in my notice, it was very much, I like to call it was a calm and confident sort of transition. And that's what I sort of help my clients do, right? Making that calm and confident transition into full-time entrepreneurship. And so I'm not one to advocate for the oh my gosh, do I quit? Do I not quit? When you're in that moment of stress and doubt, and I was there. There was a moment when I had gotten offered a promotion, a 2 6-figure salary, and I was in the closet, and I was staring at the closet. This was pre-pandemic, so I had to get ready for work and commute, right? So I was staring at the closet, and there was tears running down. There was snot, and I was like, do I accept the promotion? Do I just go full time in my business? And it was this whole thing. But essentially, I ultimately decided to stay in the day job. And then I still decided to stay in a day job. I still decided to keep my business and my day job at the same time, even with all those tears and snot, and even with the bad boss. So the way I started thinking about the job, though, but I did reframe how I thought about the job. So instead of thinking about the job as oh my God, this is the worst thing possible ever. One, I started to be grateful that it allowed me the opportunity to really look beyond its entrepreneurship. And then two, I started to appreciate the income as a way to fund my actual business, right? And so you have people talking about they need money for their business, and this was essentially my way of funding my own business, essentially. And so I started to appreciate it for that. I was like, yes, keep giving me these coins and we're going to make it happen. And so that's essentially what I ended up doing and keeping the business day job. When I eventually then left, instead of the snot and tears of that moment in the closet, essentially what happened a year later was that it was a moment of, I remember I opened up, this was now we're remote so to speak. And it was someone in the beginning stages, but I remember I opened up the laptop and the second laptop, so to speak. I have my own personal laptop. I opened up the work laptop and I remember just like looking at it and I was just like, I looked at like an invisible watch on my, I might put my wrist up. I have no watch on my wrist, but I looked at it up, looking at it, and I was just like, I think it's time to go. Like, that's pretty much what happened. It was very much like, it's time to go now. Yeah. And so then but of course when I actually decided to go, that was the 1 week, cause now I had a new boss this time. And so, but essentially that was the 1 week where she decided to take vacation, because she never took vacation, but it was that 1 week I decided to quit when she took vacation. Took a vacation day or a week. And so then I didn't tell her until next week after. I gave them a 1 month notice too. I gave my job because, again, the culture is great. I enjoyed the job. It was just the first boss that I had wasn't great. But by the time I was ready to quit, essentially I had moved to another team, got another raise, was doing even better work. But essentially it was, I told the team, gave a 1 month notice. They wanted me to stay a little bit longer. I was like, you got 4 weeks. Let's get this going. And that was essentially what happened there. It was this common.
So the blessings just kept coming.
Yeah.
So you were like, so anybody out there viewing, that's your quandary. You are like, you're right there on the fence. You want to go, you ready to go, and you're there, you ready, you go. But the job itself, the situation, the job is a good job, and the money ain't bad. The people, the boss might be a hot mess, but there's some things you love about the job, but it's, oh my God, you talk about the tug, the pull. I mean, it's almost like you looking back like a kid, like, I want to leave you, but right? You feel some kind of way about it.
Yes,
you want to leave the people, but you know it was the right thing to do. So tell me about that. And I want to know this, but I need to know. I want you to tell me about that first day when you realized you were home, your first day by yourself. And I'm my own boss, your first day home. Tell us about that day. Like, you woke up, you're at your desk, you're ready. Your first day, your official first day, I'm working my own business. I'm an entrepreneur, full time. Tell me about that.
So the day wasn't as exciting as you think it would be. Like, it was because the thing is that because I'd already also worked on my business already while doing my day job, and because I'm just like really great at like balancing it all, and because I'm very efficient at my day job, I was already in a state where I was already doing my business, where like once I became my own boss, it was like, all right, my own boss now. Like, at some point, the day job actually became the side hustle. And then before I even put in my notice, the day job was already somewhat of a side hustle in a sense. And then my side business was actually already the main business. And so the official day one was very much like, okay, but I'd already been.
Wait. Pause it. I need you back up, because this one, we don't want to miss this thing here. We don't want to miss this. So your side hustle became your main hustle. So you was kind of going to work like, well, let me go up here to this job. Pretty much. I'm going up here to this job, but like for real, I wish I was home working that business right now. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Right? Pretty much. What does that feel like? I mean, like, what did you feel like? At what point you say, I cannot believe this side hustle is like, you know what I mean? Like, it's almost like, what is that? When you're like, I don't need this job. Y'all don't come for me today because I was totally, today ain't the day. Because I
was like that for like a couple of months. I really was.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I digress. Continue.
Now, I was like that for a couple of months, where it was very much like, it was very much like being comfortable with, like, let's say they do fire me, like, I'll be okay. Even though, like, I personally, like, am one to always, like, I'm a great employee, amazing employee. I want to emphasize that too. I think a lot of people think that people go into entrepreneurship because they're not great at working with people. And the fact of the matter is, if I had a great boss, like, I probably would have kept my day job. Like, if the boss that I left with was a boss I had at the very beginning of my journey with that second company, I probably wouldn't be in entrepreneurship right now. Like, honestly, I would have had no reason to be the rich dad, poor dad, right? I wouldn't have had a reason to look outside or beyond, because I would have said, oh, things are good, whatever. And I would have like probably made it work with my purpose or whatever it was I was thinking of. Cause I was also doing volunteering stuff for board organizations outside of work and all that stuff. And so it wasn't, for me, that's why I'm thankful I had the bad boss in that respect. But really at the end of the day, there was a couple of months right before that I finally put in the notice where, I did treat my day job as a side business. And because of that, whenever I would open up the laptop, it was always this moment of like, oh, I guess I can. But it wasn't like why? It wasn't like a stressful. It was just more of like an exhausting, like, not even exhausting, just I guess I can. Like, I get like very, very just like not something that gives you energy, right? Versus, maybe you're watching, you watch Stephanie and Hope every week and you just get like this vibe to keep going. And I opened up my laptop and I would just get that complete opposite vibe. My work laptop, just complete opposite vibe. And I was, I was just doing tasks, kind of just like going with the motion of things versus actually enjoying what I was doing. And once I saw that transition point, that's when I realized that at some point in time, because I also valued my own personal happiness, and because for me, like, I know that when I get bored at a job, like, you don't want me as an employee. If I get bored at a job, it's time for me to move on to something, another project. Like, I will talk to my leaders about, okay, what about some other project? What about some other thing? And I will make sure that I have some fun. But essentially, they reached a point where I was bored, kind of in a sense, right? Like, it was interesting, so someone would find it interesting, but I stopped finding it interesting. And so because of that, and then, when I looked outside of it, I was like, I guess I can work on that project. I guess I can help them internationally there. I guess I can work on this one too, but or I could do my business. And so it really was a very much like just a not nonchalant. It was very just like calm, just cool, collective, like it is just time to go. And it was, there was a gradual like transition to it in terms of when that main job became the side job and mentally in my mind and how I treated it. But ultimately, once I was done with my projects that I had for the day job, I was very much like, I really don't want them to give me another project. Don't give me another project. Don't. I was just like, no.
And I can see that, and I can I can certainly relate. I can certainly relate because I can see the passion, and I can see, God knows, I still have, I've retired and I came back and I have a job that I love, and I also have a business that I love. So I certainly understand that. Wait a minute, we got a comment here. Hey, Tandra. So, but this is what I want to ask you. All right, so I want you to tell me two things. Because I don't want to miss these two things. I want you to tell me more about your purpose with your Vision Catalyst, and about your one-on-one business consulting, and then I want you to also tell me, why do you specifically focus on corporate professionals in your business?
Yes, happy to. So in terms of my mission with my company, Your Vision Catalyst, is to equip and empower ambitious solopreneurs to keep moving forward on their vision. So when that fateful day comes, because we're all going to die one day. So when that fateful day comes, they can say they lived their life without any shoulda, coulda, or wouldas. And so that's pretty much like what my mission and vision is. And in terms of my purpose in life, though, that I essentially discovered way before entrepreneurship is to share information and resources with people to become better versions of themselves. So essentially all about accessibility and information, because that's how I got to where I was at that point that I discovered my purpose. And so I always wanted to be that person who shares information and knowledge with people. Has always been true to my realm. And so when I started Your Vision's Catalyst, pretty much was tied to my purpose, in that it was my way of saying, I'm trying to help like catalyze people's minds and visions to take action on really making their business happen. Now I've since transitioned that to really helping people who are struggling and frustrated just really like get the right tools they need and strategies they need with their business so they can take it to the next level, whatever that looks like for them. So helping them to revive, grow, and scale the way that they want to. And the reason why essentially my focus is on mid to late corporate professionals who have an existing business but are looking to transition and grow their business while employed is because that's my journey. That's the journey I took, right? I grew my business while I was employed. Then I eventually made that transition. And so there are definitely specific things that are unique to that audience that I realized that other programs did not tailor to. So I personally myself, I invested over 6 figures in different business coaches programs, different like courses, like trying to master the online course space and like the small business world and all that jazz. And what I noticed a pattern of was that many people weren't really talking to the person who was doing like either the day job and the business, or the day job, business, and like parenthood. And I very much so wanted to be that person, because essentially people weren't speaking to me at the time when I was like doing my business and day job, right? So what that looked like was that, they would have a program and then it'll be like office hours are like 10 a.m. and you're like, but I'm at work. Right? Or they would say, we are hosting this thing and it's like all during the week, but we'll give you like a 2-day notice, right? Or it was very much like they will give you strategies and say, you should get it done in like a week, right? And so, but then you have other people in the program who would be full-time entrepreneurs, getting stuff done very quickly. And it's like, then you're like comparing yourself like, oh, but and the person, the other, like the people, the coaches, advisors, like all the other people who are meant to like help you in that program wouldn't be able to really guide the person who was doing the day job in the business, right? And so you would just have to guide, like I would just have to guide myself, which is like, fine, I guess I've been doing all my life, but I didn't pay $30,000 to guide myself, right? I didn't pay $20,000 to guide myself. I didn't pay $10,000 to guide myself. And so with that being said, I found that, at the end of the day, for me, what my consulting does is I do make myself available on Sundays for people, right? I am a full-time entrepreneur, but I choose to work on Sundays because I know that's when my clients are available, right? I choose to work and talk to my clients on weekday evenings. Actually, I have a client call tonight, right? Because that's when they are available to work after hours, right? And then during the day, I do some other stuff. There are days when I just like don't talk to anybody, but essentially it is making myself available in that sense for my clients, right? Or when I host workshops or master classes, it's in the evening time, right? After work hours. And so essentially it was really being intentional, and it still is being intentional. And when I have events, when I'm structuring my business, how can I still tailor to that audience?
And, speaking of master classes, could you please tell me and the audience all about your upcoming master class? I believe it's, let me see here. I have first of all, I need to know about this knowledge party. I mean, it's just so much I need to know about it. So please tell us about this program. What's coming up? What's coming up?
Yeah, well, essentially what's coming up is what I'm doing is a revamp. So I've been speaking for a few years, many different speaking engagements, but it's a revamp of all that, and sort of also a summary of the frameworks and the step-by-step guidance of what I teach my clients. But the masterclass is essentially called How to Grow Your Purpose-Driven Business Without Burnout, Without Sleep Deprivation, or Meditation. And so it's the insider's guide to reviving your business for long-term success. So this is for struggling, frustrated entrepreneurs, or entrepreneurs who are overwhelmed with opportunities and growth, that they're just like stuck, right? And so what I go through in this masterclass are 3 main secrets and step-by-steps for each of them. So secret number 1, calmly breathing. And so how to find the time to do it all and effectively balance all that has in between. So I guide people through step-by-step on how to help my clients really balance like their job and their business, and their motherhood. And some clients have young kids. Some of my clients are balancing demanding day job, right? They're VPs, they're directors, and they're also looking to grow their business, right? To either retire. Some of my clients are full-time entrepreneurs, but they're full-time entrepreneurs with either multiple businesses, or they have a lot of stuff happening and their business is growing. And so effectively balancing all those opportunities. Secret number 2, how to confidently hustle, right? So how to unstuck your income so that you can have the purpose-driven business that makes the impact that you want, right? Because yes, maybe you're watching this, and you're watching us here live and you're saying to yourself, but my business is still not at a place where I feel comfortable quitting my day job, right? Or maybe you're watching us and you're just like, I've been working on my business for 2-3 years and it's still not at a place where I know it can be. But you still believe in that business, right? Because you still believe in your purpose. You still believe in that vision and that calling that you had to make that business happen, right? And so what we're going to go through in this masterclass is getting the step-by-steps that you need to unstuck your income, right? From a strategy perspective, right? Speak to, Stephanie and Hope for the life coach mindset stuff. But we're going to go through the strategy pieces and components of that. And then secret number 3, yes, there's more, is on digital marketing. So my number 1 digital marketing hack. So I'll be going through step-by-step on how to ensure, the people who attend, their business, their marketing is running efficiently so they can productively maintain an online presence in 2022. And this is running efficiently without technology, without, extra systems, et cetera, right? We're going through a step-by-step way for you to ensure that you are setting up your digital marketing for success this year and every year afterwards. And so I have also a special code for people who are watching this live. You're welcome to sign up. Essentially, the tickets are usually it's like anywhere between $7 and $37, but because you're here, 100% discount. Because you're a friend of my friend here, Speaker Stephanie, so 100% discount. I think they may have put the link in the chat. I'm not sure. Let me see if I can find it though for y'all. But yeah, 100% discount. So once you get the link, and you just click it, and the discount will be applied. But if you don't see it applied, the code is WALL. That's Stephanie's last name, WALL 2022.
That we're gonna make sure we drop that right here in this chat right now, and it's also on the little ticker going down at the bottom in case. There we go. But then wait a minute, here we go, and bam!
Put some in the chat. There it is.
There you go in the chat. Oh my gosh, this is good stuff. This is good stuff. As Dr. Sherwood said, this is juicy. We lost her. Oh no, she'll be back. She will be back. But listen, come on. Matter of fact, let me Hope up here. Hope. This some good stuff. I know you sitting over there with all kinds of notes. Now, what you got? Vanessa, I know. Welcome back. What you hit? What button did you hit yourself out?
I was trying to click the Facebook thing to put the thing in the comments, and it was yeah.
That's all right. But so you know what? I wanted to know. So. Well, before I even start that, no, Hope, I know you got questions because I know Hope. I know my co-host. So I'm going to let her ask these questions. But you got Hope. I'm going to back up here and let you get it off your chest.
I do have a question. I'm sorry. I was actually trying to register too. So this is me trying to multitask, which I shouldn't do.
I knew it.
Look, I'm taking advantage of these free resources. I'm about building that business. And you can only be a boss is when you know you need help. So the best way to be a boss is taking the resources that you were given. So, but how do you help your clients? And I love the one thing you talked about is the defibrillator. Because we all know what a defibrillator does. It regenerates or re-stimulates and shocks the heart. And I do believe that purpose is already inside each and every one of us. So the fact that you're using the word defibrillator to me is reviving what most people may think is what's dead inside of them. Is really not, but you're shocking it so that you're helping them to bring it back to life. But how do you help? Say you have a client who knows their purpose, but they're struggling with it. How do you help them in building their business or becoming a full entrepreneur? Because I know some of us are still so stuck with that. I got to work my 9 to 5, even though they have this business, which they probably call their side hustle. But how do you help them get to that transition point?
That's a great question. And I'm, as you were describing that, a few of my clients came to mind because they're all sort of in different stages of their transition point. You kind of go through different stages. But I'm thinking even just, one of my clients, she's a recent client, but she is, a VP and a chief diversity officer for a company. But she's been wanting to do her own business. Ever since she entered corporate America, she was like, I'm going to retire by doing my own business. Right. But she worked through for many decades and then finally decided, this past in December to say, Vanessa, I want to work with you. I'm like, okay. Anyways, yeah. So, and we had met actually a few years ago. So she had been taking a bit. And so for her, though, she's still thinking about, okay, let me continue keeping my data because she still hasn't yet transitioned into I can transition. But for her business, she could actually transition in 6 months if she wanted to. Right. But she is in the realm where she's thinking to herself, okay, I can't transition in 6 months, but let me take it slow, right? And take it easy. And for some people, that's what you need to do, right? You don't have to rush. There's no rush to this I need to quit, sooner rather than later, et cetera, right? Everyone's working on their own pace and their own time. But for her, the first step was really getting her to even understand, how valuable her services were to people, right? Getting her to even understand the power that she had of her business, right? And so she's had 25 plus year helping people go from, director to C-suite in 1 year, in the corporate ladder space, right? So she's all about helping getting more people of color in like boardroom positions. And she's helped many people do that, right? But for her, she was going to charge like $100 for that. And I was like, excuse me? No. But for her, like that was like her number, right? And so getting her to really own her own like ticket price. And so I literally did the exercise for her, for example, where I said, okay, just say this number out loud. Like I think the number we chose like 10,000, right? Say it out loud. And just say it to anyone who asks you to do anything, say $10,000, right? And for her, that was what helped her to see. And then not only that, but then less than 2 weeks, right? She then was able to get her first client who actually paid the amount that she had asked for, right? There was no negotiation. There was no like back and forth. It was literally like she sent the client proposal. This is the price. The client said, yeah, let go. And she scheduled the time. And that's how it was, right? And then you have other clients where I have another client where she's academic director, close to superintendent for a district in California. She has a nonprofit organization that she's had for 5 years, right? And so for her, she's been doing this day job and business thing for many, many, many years, definitely more than I have. And she loves her job though, right? Like she's not dealing with the bad, but like she loves her job. She loves the work that she's doing. She loves like helping the kids and all that jazz. But for her transition stage, she's now realizing and seeing that, in order to take her nonprofit to the next level and to make the impact, one, that she can do it, but two, in order to make that happen, it is going to require her full-time attention. And so what I do for my clients is really helping them to understand and really understand and also accept, right? That they can have an even greater impact with their business, because a lot of times people are staying stuck in what sort of their limited box, right? What they think is possible. And so like everyone, yes, has their vision, but there's some part of you that is, or that person, right? That's like denying that vision is possible. And so because of that is then holding them back from taking that next level step. That's what it comes down to. And so what I help my clients do is that like usually it always comes like as like a catalyst in like one session with them where it all just comes like rushing in. It's usually what ends up happening. But it's very much getting them to understand and accept of like what is the greater that is possible for them, and getting them to understand and accept that greater can happen, right? And it's never like the first session. It's never the first session. It's never my first session with them. It's usually, after a couple of sessions, we get them going with the business and the growth. And I'm like also weaving in subconscious words of like growth and scale and like, ooh, right? To get them to just like get more familiar and get more accepting of like what is possible. And then from there, it becomes like sort of a flow into things. Yeah, but it's definitely not easy. And it definitely is a transition phase, but it's really the first step is understanding. The second step is accepting.
Wow. So there's always, just because we gotta make sure we let the folks know that it is work. Yes. Entrepreneurship is work.
It's a marathon. Indeed.
And so I want you to share with, and I'll move with it. Share with the viewers and us a time when you in your journey when you felt like, okay, you know what, if you ever felt this, right? You know what, I think I may have made a mistake, or maybe this is maybe a little harder than I think. You know what, maybe I'm going to go back and work and do this. Maybe, talk about a time when you thought that you had just a little suspension of doubt. Give them the 100. Give them the 100.
Oh, yes. So entrepreneurship is a marathon. Everyone goes through doubts. And I'm no exception. And even if it's only a second of doubt, it's still doubt, folks. It's still doubt. But I would say there are a couple of moments that came to mind. I would say there's one in terms of like when I was have my day job in business that comes to mind. Actually, it was like 5 months of time, 5 months actually. And then there's another time where, after I became a full-time entrepreneur, that moment. But I'll talk about when I was doing my day job in business, where essentially for me, when I started my business, I actually thought that I was the only like business coach, business consultant for small businesses and entrepreneurs. Like I literally thought, like when I woke up in that trance, I thought this was like a brand new idea. Like no one else is consulting or coaching business owners. Like this, I was, privileged to have that, right? But then 6 months later, what happened is that I realized that I had competition, right? I realized that I was not the only one out here helping entrepreneurs and small businesses, which is a great thing because it means that people are getting a lot of help. But then it also meant I went into there was an imposter syndrome, doubt, fear of failing, like all that jazz, which then led me to this whole like shiny object. So I spent 5 months. It was a good 5 months or so. And not only that, but I also was working my day job.
Did you say shiny object? Come on, speak on it. Because I'm
shiny object.
Come on, speak on
it.
Shiny things. Talk about it.
Yes. So shiny object syndrome. And this is actually and part of it was also like the stress I put on myself because I was also working my day job and business at the same time. This time still with the bad boss. And so there's also pressure I put on myself to like, I must get this business going. Otherwise I will stay here forever in this misery. So I also put a lot of stress on myself from that as well too, which then meant it essentially led into this whole like shiny object, imposter, all that jazz. So the shiny object syndrome essentially was my impatience coming out, right? I tend to be a very patient person. I take the bus and train all throughout my life, city, urban life. So I was a very patient person, sometimes buses break down, etc. But essentially these 5 months, I just wasn't patient. I was like, I must escape as soon as possible. I must get this business to where it needs to be as soon as possible. I must reach 6 figures in like 1 month, right? And so that was very much how I approached the business. But with that being said, the shiny object, for those who don't know, is when you're jumping around from thing to thing when it comes to your business. So what that looked like was that, okay. Oh, and also I was also sort of re-entering the online world because I was doing my business like outside of online. So I didn't really like social media for real. I really don't like social media. I know, like it looks different now today, but I really just did not like social media. But we're sharing my life, very private person. I was like, why am I gonna share my life? Well, point being, I was then getting into social media, in terms of a business realm, and so Facebook ads. The Facebook ads, right? And so they keep popping up. They're like, oh, do this. It will get you this and that. Do that. It'll get you this and that. So all this stuff would, be thrown at me and I'd be like, yeah, that's going to be the thing that gets me to where I need to go. And I'll try it out, and I would do it and I'll be like, oh, that didn't work fast enough. Next thing, right? And that was because of my impatience, which is rooted in, what led to my, shiny object syndrome. But with that being said, there was definitely those moments of doubt of like, okay, there's something not working here. I don't understand. Now the next question may be, but Vanessa, how'd you overcome that? That's a great question. So with that being said, I would say it was very, like, I wish I had like a specific answer for this, but all I remember was that it was like a springtime and it was the beginning of a month. And I remember just in the beginning of that month, like after the 5 months was like over, I remember the beginning of the month, I kind of just like had this weird feeling. And I was like, what is this feeling within me? Like, I don't know what this feeling is. And I spent 2 weeks like with this feeling. I was just like, what is this feeling? And then it wasn't until 2 weeks later. And I remember it was a Friday. And I said to myself, oh, it's calm. That is the feeling I'm feeling. Calm. But what was that calm rooted in, right? When I reflect back on that calm, the CALM, that calm was rooted in faith. That calm was rooted in, I reached a point where in my 5 months of object syndrome, I had done and experimented with all types of things you could do when it came to the online space at that time, right? Clubhouse didn't exist at that time. So I hadn't done Clubhouse, right? I hadn't done TikTok. TikTok had not blown up at that time. But essentially, all the things you could have done prior, right? I had either taken a course on it, tried it myself, like helped client, like I had done pretty much everything in the online business space, like imaginable, right? And I had reached a point of like calm because after doing all that stuff, I then was able to I finally decided to center and align on like what I knew to be true about myself, right? And what I knew to be true about myself, I was like, wait, hold up, Vanessa, right? So now it goes back to me sort of overcoming the imposter syndrome. It's like, wait a second, Vanessa, wait, pause. Pause, right? It was like, you are a problem solver. Like, what do you, like, wait. Like, it was very much like a speak to self. Like, you are a problem solver. Like, you did not make it in this way in life to like, no, like, you know what you're doing. Like, it was very much like a moment as I talked to myself, like, you know what you're doing. Like, what? Like, there's a reason why you're a business consultant. Like, you came, like, this calling came to you for a reason. This vision came, like, it was all me sort of putting all the pieces together and realizing that I was where I needed to be. And then having faith in that I would reach where I wanted to go, right? And there was no rush to it. This wasn't a sprint. I didn't need to, like, fast pace myself or go from object to object. But I really need to just align on a clear strategy. As I had help other companies do when I'm on their strategy team. Do that for myself. Like, it was like, it seems so obvious now, but essentially when I was in that moment, it was very much like, huh? Did I just spend 5 months? Like, what was I thinking? But essentially that's what happened there. Was I eventually reached a point
fire. Wait, Hope, are you sitting there like fire? Now you see what I said? I told you, I love her. I love her. You know, I love energy, and she is fire. And I mean, listen, this is what I'm talking about. And you said a couple of things that was key to me. You said a couple of times, which it's something about somebody else has to say it. You invested in yourself to get what you needed, because whatever fear, right? Fear, false evidence being real, but face everything and run, or or fear everything and run, or face everything and rise. But here's the deal. Most people don't realize that what they're afraid of is there's a lack. It's either a skill you're missing or a tool. You said, doggone it, I'm going to get it. Now, somebody is going to get these coins, and you know what? And you bought shiny things. I did it too. I'm always talking about how I put the entire cart before the horse, because, there weren't all these rules. Now, people wasn't giving away the information like they now, right? Mm-hmm. They weren't giving you, nobody was like kind of laying it out. You had to go searching for this map or this plan or this road map. There were coaches, but not like there's coaches now. And they weren't very niched coaches, right? And if we're being honest, there wasn't a whole lot of coaches that looked like us. Now, there we go. Now, there wasn't people that were like, listen, girl, I did it. I failed. And you can do it too. It was people like so big that I felt like we were too big, too untouchable. So that was huge. But I was sitting there cracking up, because I said, you have already wrapped that thing up with a bow. You gave some meat and potatoes out the gate. So you have heard from our Vanessa Zamy. But Vanessa, I want you to tell them, even though they've been looking at it, I want you to tell them how they can reach you in addition to you going to your website that I have below.
I would say, so thank you for having me here this evening. It's a pleasure being with you all. I'd say the best way to reach me, honestly, send me a message on Facebook. Well, first connect with me on Facebook and LinkedIn, and then send me a message. I don't do too well with strangers, so I don't know. But send me a message that says, hey, saw you on Stephanie's show, saw you with Hope, saw you on 1 Million Lives Transformed, whatever. And let's connect. And you're welcome to, continue reaching out and messaging me. I'm also social media nowadays, in contrast. But so Facebook and LinkedIn are the best ways to reach out to me. And I look forward to seeing you if you do decide to sign up for the masterclass happening next Thursday, January 13th at 6 p.m. Eastern. I look forward to seeing you there. It will be happening live on Zoom, not on Facebook, but live on Zoom. So in order to get that link, use the code WALL2022 and sign up there. And let's really dive deep into getting you to revive, grow, and scale your business.
And if you, and I know, and well, Hope, you might as well go ahead and do it now. If you were somebody that know you went on there already and signed up, just go ahead and write me, put me in the chat, me in the wherever you are viewing it from. And Vanessa cannot wait to see you. And again, Vanessa, thank you for your yes. And you all, this is the time of the day where we tell you, where I go ahead and tell you. So again, send Vanessa the messages, and we're going to put any additional information we need in the chat. So Vanessa, if I missed anything, can you put it in there in the comments? Just if there's anything that we want to make sure we share, put it in there for me. All right, you all, this is the time where I tell you to shine your light. Shine your light, because that light that's inside of you is your blessing to the world. I believe in the Holy Trinity, so I believe that the light is shining from within me. It's God's blessing to the world. It's the Holy Spirit. So I know if I'm not doing what I do, if I'm not walking in my purpose, if I'm not showing up and doing this very thing and many other things, and helping 1 million plus women transform and change their lives so they can get what they want, then I'm not doing God's work. And therefore, I'm not shining my light. The light is not landing on the intended target. And the same goes for you. So shine your light. And Lisa Nichols says, if your light is too bright for you, put on your sunglasses. If it's too bright, sunglasses. If it's too bright for others, ask them to put on theirs. So we'll see you back here, same time, same place, every Wednesday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. My name is Stephanie Wall, your transformation architect. It's been a pleasure. See you all soon. Thank you, Vanessa. Thank you, Hope. Boy, you know what? It's a whole party. Hope, what you got for them? We got it. We got it. We're gonna, you know what, Hope? This is where we get to say goodbye to the people. But let me tell you, there's so much going on in this world that I want you all to know. If there's anybody that's missing a loved one right now, now we're going into this new year, we want you to know that our prayers are with you, and that we continue to pray for you and your family from this moment forward and on into the new year. So have a great evening.